I forgot to add the music. There. Now the music is appearing. Okay. Hello, everybody. Let's see how everything looks. That looks the same to me. Okay, so I haven't practiced steno in months, but we're gonna try some today. I'm gonna try and go for the full 80, 100 words per minute classes, but I might stop at the 80 because it is cold in here. I almost forgot to turn off my heater. That's how cold it is. Okay. Do I need the Anki open? I might need Anki. Open up Anki. I haven't been using Anki either. I have like 500 flashcards that I haven't done in months. So I'm not even sure why I'm opening up Anki. Like, just adding more work to myself by the fact that I don't think I'm gonna open it again. Oof. Oh no, it's actually 200 cards, my bad. I over-exaggerated. It was not 500, it was 200. Hopefully the music isn't too loud. Need to lower it a little bit more. Okay, so we're starting with the 80 words per minute class number 33. I haven't done this in a while. My feet hurt because it's so cold. Let's see how far I get. Oh, wait, I forgot to bring up the browser. There.
Started with some finger switches. Get our fingers warmed up. Ready? And actually these words will be focusing on final P, final B, and final N. Here we go. Nap, nab, tan, pan, sap, cab, dab, tap, done, cap, ran, rob, cob, wrap, ban.
Little warm up. My fingers are already starting to freeze. It is about 20 degrees in here. But the fact I have heaters on.
Now let's practice
so cold.
Some names of, looks like rivers. Names of rivers and numbers.
And numbers?
Here we go. Missouri. 2,315. Arkansas. 1,450.
I don't remember how to write Arkansas. Hold up. Look it up. Okay, it's AR.
Columbia. 1,243.
Let me look up Columbia. That is a lot of ways to write it. Okay, which way am I gonna choose?
Yukon. 1,979. Snake. 1,000. Wabash, 475. Allegheny, 1,306. South Platte, 442. Cumberland, 687. Now for some sentences, practicing consonant compounds, initial ST and initial SK.
Okay.
Ready? Here we go. Linda stood there in a stupor. Don't stumble over the tree stump. The radio was stolen from the store. They schemed to steal the stole. Good styles are scarce this fall. He starred in the high school skit. His skin is scarred from the fire. Roller skating takes skill and balance. She sketched the skyline against the stars. I scolded him for stealing the cookies. Steve has the latest style in jackets. The doctor asked for his scalpel stat.
Okay, let me add high school to my own thing that I might not even use. High school.
Now let's work on some vocabulary development. These are doublets.
Doublets.
Ready? Here we go. Karate instructor. Recreational vehicle. Singing telegram. Prosthetic device. mechanical, pencil, foreign exchange, geological, survey, acupuncture, clinic, brokerage house, suede jacket, upholstery, cleaner, Polaroid camera, stereophonic sound.
Okay, let me look all these up because I didn't write most of these right. Karate. Okay, there's a lot of ways to write this. Which one do I like best? That one. I like that one best. The third one. So, being able to write it shorter would be a lot beneficial. Instructor, I didn't write that correctly. That is not a word in my dictionary. I think I'll just add it. Instructor. Words. Okay. Good right now. Good. Next one is geological. Hey, know how to... Huh. Well, looks like that's just gonna be the way that it is. Acupuncture. Deuces. Okay, it is 1C. Not in my dictionary. Acupuncture. Oh, but it's 2 C's instead of 1. Okay, I figured out how to write it. It is, acupuncture. Brokerage house, suede jacket, upholstery. That's one word. Isn't that one word? Yeah, that's one word. Is there a UP upholstery. Polaroid camera, stereophonic. Okay, I got stereophonic. Practice them again. Instructor. Illogical. Acupuncture. Upholstery. Stereophonic. Okay. God, it's cold.
These words are a mixture of consonant compounds. Ready? Here we go. Slurp, stash, throng, clink, thorn, splash, storm, smirk, travel, shirt, stir, shaft, chance, blurt, drink.
Okay, I got 2 more minutes in this video.
These doublets are called jury charge doublets.
Oh, okay.
And they are
Hi.
words that you might find
How you
in
doing?
a jury charge.
Just doing my steno practice for the first time in months.
Ready? Here we go. Duly
Brought me a flower.
qualified. Legal
Thank you.
presumption. Absolute truth. Conclusive evidence. Similar circumstances. Common experience. Words uttered. False representation. Mental capacity. Constitutional privilege. Swear falsely. Unlawful purpose.
Purchase purpose. Let me redo that because I don't think that's how you spell dually. Is duly qualified? Yeah, that's not how you spell it. There. I had the wrong dually. That was dually. Okay. Dually. Dolly. No, I keep doing it wrong. I have a short way of writing qualified. Maybe I add it to Anki. Am I gonna use Anki anymore? I don't know. Presumption. Maybe presumption's already in here. Yeah, it is. I just didn't remember it. EL. Yeah. It's one of those weird ones where I have to like rotate my wrist in order to hit. All of the is. It's the Z in particular that I'm having trouble hitting the GZ. Slar. That's similar. It's slar. I keep writing with the PH instead of just the HR. My feet hurt. It is so cold in here. Common experience. Words uttered. False representation. Mental capacity. Oh.
Jonas, is water just redeemed hydrate?
Water time, thank you. It is indeed water time. Looks like the rest I know how to write. Even constitutional. Impressive! And that's the end of that video, so I can move on to, it's out of order. This video's, this series is videos. Next one would be the jury charge in literary.
Welcome to literary and jury charge practice. We'll start out, get warmed up with this narrative answer.
Narrative answer.
Ready? Here we go. Jean said that she overheard them talking on the extension in the bedroom. Jean said that she did not walk by the bedroom just to spy on them, but to get a paper from her desk. Hilda was talking to somebody on the phone, and Hilda said to come over right away. Well, Jean said
Gonna be lurking while I make some
that
dinner? Is that, by the way?
had gone back, said to come over
Thank you for the lurk.
right away. Well, Jean said that she had gone back to bed until she heard a car come up. Then she looked outside and saw a man getting out of the car and coming up the walk. Hilda let him in, and Jean could hear their voices downstairs. Hilda was telling him that Jean had cashed the check and that she had stashed the money under the cookie jar on the kitchen counter. Jean told me that afterwards she asked Hilda what she meant by telling everybody that she had hidden the money. Then she told me that Hilda denied saying any such thing and that they had a horrible fight about it. Hilda left in a huff and said that she was never coming back. Well, that story was nothing like what I heard from Peter. Peter said that he didn't know anything about the affair until the next day when he saw it on the news program on television. Peter is a close friend of both Hilda and Jean and doesn't know what to make of the whole affair. He is baffled but wants to get to the bottom of it.
I don't know what's going on with my writer. It keeps outputting multiples of words, specifically it. Died. That's a complicated way to write that. 3 strokes instead of 2.
All right, now for some jury charge practice.
Jury charge.
And this is, we'll finish up at the jury charge we had started previously. Ready? Here we go.
I don't even remember it.
The evidence must establish the truth of the fact to a moral certainty, a certainty that convinces and directs the understanding and satisfies the reason and judgment of those who are bound to act conscientiously upon it. However, if after canvassing carefully the evidence and giving the accused the benefit of reasonable doubt, you are led to the conclusion that the defendant is guilty. You should so declare by your verdict. You will arrive at your verdict by applying these rules of law to the facts as you determine them to be.
What's up with... I wrote verdict right the first time. Conscientiously. How do I write that? How do I write that? Ever since I started steno, I can't write anything. Conscientiously. Conscientious. That is a complicated word, right? Certainty. Yeah, I was pretty close. Oh, and establish. That's STV.
All right. There were a few challenging words in that jury charge.
Yeah.
We had conscientiously. And erroneous. So 2 words to add to your list of challenging words possibly. I don't know, I'm not aware of briefs, but I'm sure there are briefs for both of those words.
No.
But yes, I know challenging words.
Not in my dictionary.
But definitely
Not sure.
add those to your list of challenging words and words to practice.
I'm not sure I need a brief for either of them, just because I'm not sure how often conscientiously and erroneous come up in conversation.
Let's get back to some literary material.
This is 80, so she might hit me with the cheese book. Hopefully not.
All right, let's try this narrative answer.
Okay, narrative answer.
Ready? Here we go. I am basing most of my arson report on the remaining material. I have investigated hundreds of sites that produce their own story of what happened. The roof was completely burned in this area. The rafters of the ceiling remained, and I used the burn patterns in finding the point of origin. The heaviest burn patterns will be close to the area where the fire started. Then the burn pattern will diminish as it goes out from there. It is obvious when you see it. By the time I got there, the ceiling had a hole cut in it where the fire department had gone in and removed part of the roof in order to vent the fire.
Apartment. One that I always forget because I want to write it as TLT. But it's just TT.
Alright, now let's try this technical answer. Here we go. Ready? Then we were to install cleanouts at the ends of all drain pipes. Cleanouts also had to be installed at any points where the pipes made turns. Cleanouts are needed at the foot of each rise. When there is a horizontal run of 50 feet, then it is also necessary to install one. If the plug to a cleanout is going to be flush with the floor or other surface, the plugs must be countersunk. It is necessary to have the same type of cleanouts for any waste or soil pipes. The cleanout in question had been countersunk and was at the end of a 40-foot horizontal run. In fact, there was a proper drop in the 40-foot run. In my opinion, the cleanout had been installed properly. The drop should have been enough to take care of the drainage.
Okay, let me look up some of these words because it's technical. So, a clean out, is it one word or two words? It is one word. Look up necessary. I always forget if. I mean, not brief. I just forget how to write it. Countersunk. Yeah, that's one word too.
some jury charge, and this is a new jury charge. The subject is negligence.
Negligence. How do I write that again? Negligence.
Ready? Here we go. Members of the jury, the trial of this case has reached a point where it becomes the duty of the court to instruct you upon the principles of law for your proper guidance in rendering your verdict. You are not to attempt to decide this case. You are only to answer the questions regardless of what the consequences may be to the parties involved. This case is being submitted to you upon a special verdict. In order for you to answer a question yes, you must be satisfied or convinced by the greater weight of the credible evidence that the answer should be yes. If you are not so satisfied or convinced, your answer to the question should then be no.
Okay, let me, where's the jerk? That's probably an Anki. Yep. I just forgot it. Proper. Regardless. What else? Vince? Satisfied too. Wins. Soy. Okay. Yeah, I might not be able to go past 80 today.
Let's try this short technical paragraph. Ready? Here we go. You cannot see carbon monoxide and it has no color and no odor. Carbon monoxide is, however, present in exhaust fumes. Never drive if you smell the exhaust. Have your car checked immediately and have the condition corrected. If you run the engine while you are stopped, open the windows and adjust the air system to draw outside air into the car. Never run the engine while you are in a confined space.
Monoxide, carbon monoxide. Yeah, that is the way that it's spelled in my. Sorry.
Some of the words in that technical that you may want to practice a little more. We had carbon monoxide, exhaust fumes,
We got 5 minutes left in this video.
All right, let's get back to a little more jury charge practice. And again, the subject of this jury charge is negligence. Ready? Here we go. The law provides that a verdict in a civil case like this, agreed to by 5/6 or more of the jury, shall be sufficient. Each answer made by you shall be agreed to by at least 10 of the jurors. If you can do so consistent with the duty each of you has as a juror, at least the same 10 jurors should concur in all the answers made. I ask you to be unanimous if you can, but if as to any question in the verdict your answer is not unanimous, then as to such answer the name of such dissenting juror or jurors should be written in the blank space at the foot of the verdict provided for that purpose.
Unanimous. Okay, I was writing it wrong.
All right, now let's try just this very short technical answer or technical paragraph, I'm sorry. And let me give you some of the words in here.
Okay.
Combustible, pyrolytic, deteriorate. Let's give it a try. Ready?
Combustible.
When prolonged heating is aimed against something combustible, we call that pyrolytic action. We call that against something combustible. We call that pyrolytic action. Anything that will burn is combustible. Pyrolytic action begins to deteriorate that combustible material and cause charring. If it is wood, it will form a charcoal film. Over a long amount of time, the pyrolytic action will break down the tissue of that wood so that it will ignite at possibly as low as 100 degrees. All right, and that will conclude.
Oh, okay, we're heading off to the Q&A. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it to 100. I'm gonna have to leave that for next week, maybe, possibly. I'm just in pain. Where is the Q&A for this?
Welcome to Q&A practice.
I've been welcomed.
Let's start out with some two voice. Get our fingers warmed up.
The voice.
And we will start with defense attorney. Ready? Here we go. At the time of your deposition, I believe you said that you had testified in 2 cases prior to that time as an expert. Is that correct? That is correct. And is that also correct today? In terms of testimony in court, that is correct. One of those was testimony about an oil well rig involving some mechanical failure. That is correct. And the other was a plumbing situation, a missile launcher. Is that correct? Yes, ma'am, that's correct. At the time of your deposition, you had experience at that time or were working on 3 automobile cases. Is that correct? I believe that is correct. How many of those involved single car accidents? None involved single car accidents. 1 involved an auto pedestrian accident. Were you asked to reconstruct the accident? Yes, I was. I believe you said 1 defense firm had called you in relation to a bus accident. That is correct. You had done no work on it? No, the case hadn't started yet, as far as I was concerned. Doctor, prior to April, had you ever conducted any accident reconstruction tests? Not with respect to cars. Your work had been primarily limited to aircraft and spacecraft and the associated technologies. When your deposition was taken, had you looked at a couple of films that were made at the university in relation to accident reconstruction? At that time, it was not to prepare me to testify in court here. All right. Since March 7, when your deposition was taken, how many hours have you put in on this case. I can't give you an exact number. I don't have my time sheets with me. It must be on the order of 100.
I did not do well with that. The next one.
All right, now we'll get to our transcript and a little for-voice practice.
For voice.
We'll start with plaintiff attorney. Ready? So, when you went back inside the store, who was with you? Investigator Rios and Investigator Davis. How long were you? Go ahead. Investigator Rios came in a few seconds later, but right when I entered the store, it was Investigator Davis and myself. But Rios also came in a few seconds after you. Yes, with the decoy. How long did you wait outside the store before you returned? Approximately 2 to 3 minutes. And after you entered the store, did you contact anyone? Yes. Who did you contact? The on-duty manager, Mr. Hamid. And for what purpose did you contact the store manager? I like to let the manager know of the violation. Excuse me. 1, because he's in charge. 2, because she's the sole cashier, the seller, Carla. So there were no other clerks on duty inside the store at that time? Correct. What did you say to the... You said you told him about the violation? Yes. And what was his response? Objection calls for hearsay. Noted. So noted for the record. You may answer. I'm sorry, what? You may answer the question. Okay, what was the question? What was the store manager's response when you notified him of the violation? Same objection, Your Honor. So noted for the record. You can answer. He acknowledged who we were, that there was a violation. Is that what you mean? Because I don't know. Okay. Did you show any type of ID? Yes. Did you identify yourself as a law enforcement officer to that store manager? Yes. I had my department badge displayed and I showed him my flat badge. At some point, did you contact the store clerk? Yes. And what did you say to the store clerk? that I was a police officer with the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, and she had sold alcohol to a minor. Was she speaking to you in English or in Spanish? She didn't really say anything at that time. Did she at some point say anything to you? Yes. At what point did she speak? After the manager took over the register from her so we could conduct the investigation. All right, just so that the record is clear, when you spoke to the clerk, you spoke to her in English? Yes. Okay, thanks. And did she respond in English? Yes, minimal to moderate English. Did
Okay. I'm not doing well on this, but I also gotta take a little break because the ad break's coming. Be right back. Okay. Back at it.
You use and did she respond in English? Yes, minimal to moderate English. Did you use any? Did you receive any assistance in translating? Yes. And who did you use to act as a translator? Investigator Rios. Did he speak Spanish? Yes, he's a department approved Spanish translator. Did you? Now, using Investigator Rios as an interpreter, did you ask the decoy who sold him the beer? Yes. What was his response? The decoy pointed to Ms. Ramirez and said, "She sold me the beer." Was the decoy facing the store clerk? Yes. Was the store clerk facing the decoy? Yes. Did they make eye contact? Yes. How close were they standing? Approximately 3 feet. Did you make a determination? Were you able to determine, I should say, whether or not the store clerk understood that she was being identified? Objection. Lack of foundation calls for speculation. I can reframe. Yes, I can just re-ask the question. All right, that will conclude our...
Yeah, for some reason, it's hitting... For some reason, the T is outputting multiple times. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I haven't touched it in a couple months. Maybe it's because it's cold in here. I don't know. Okay, let me try the test.
This is an 80 Q&A practice test.
So I won't be doing very well on this, considering
Claiming
how I did last
attorney,
time.
Mr. Morris, capital M-O-R-R-I-S. Defense attorney, Ms. M.S. period Allen, capital A-L-L-E-N. And we'll start with defense attorney. Ready? Okay, and this specifically is for B. Scott, right? Yes. Is that the address 12930 Avery Road? Yes. It's got phone numbers over there on the right, correct? Yes. Even got information about the vehicle, 1989 Dodge minivan. Yes. And that is to be, what is it, run till sold? What does that mean? The ad will run until, it will run as long as the person needs to, as long as they would have called every 3 weeks to renew it. Okay, so all of this information was given to you by the caller on October 31st at 8:12 a.m., right? Yes, it was. Now, did you know that Mr. Avery had... You did know that Mr. Avery had Sue's direct phone number, right? No, I did not. Were you aware that he had done a privately arranged shoot with her on October 10th. I wasn't. Those are called hustle shots, and I didn't have any information about those, so I wouldn't have known. Well, let me show you a couple more exhibits. I'm showing you exhibit 23. Can you identify that, please? It's one of her lead sheets, and it looks like it has, I think that's her writing on there. This is when she was done with photos. Right. She would fax them in so she could get paid for them. Sure, I understand. And this one also was prepared by you? Yes. Okay, and the date of this one is 10/10/2005. Okay, and what this does is this lists, well, let me put it up on the screen once and we'll talk about what it says. Can you also identify exhibit 24? This appears to be one of the logs that the photographers did on their own, like a hustle shot, or maybe a call in, or something that they would have written up themselves. So this is Sue's writing. That looks like Sue's writing. That looks like Sue's writing, yeah. And can you tell what date this is at all, or where it came from, or if it's in any way associated with exhibit 23? I really can't be certain. Okay, well, let me put them up on the bigger screen and we'll talk about them from there, please. All right. First, exhibit 23. Let's see here. This is the exhibit you mentioned you prepared on October 10th, right? Yes. It's a little bit hard to see there, but there you go. October 10th.
Okay. Done with that. Yeah, I'm tapping out. My feet hurt. It's distracting me severely. I'm so cold. Let's see, no longer showing the browser. Go to the next set of videos. Class 34. Too bad about 100, but I'm not gonna do it. Okay. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow to play Silent Hill 2 for a short while. It'll be another short stream because I'm sure I'm sure I won't be able to last more than an hour and a half again. Okay, and let's raid the Space Jace. They're currently playing Cairn. The title of the stream is Let's Climb a Mountain. Okay, see y'all tomorrow for Silent Hill 2. Hope to see y'all there. It's gonna be fun. We're almost done with the game. It shouldn't be long now. Like maybe 1 or 2 short streams. And then after that, it'll be Silksong. I'll need to figure out what game I'm going to play after Silent Hill 2. Probably a visual novel or something. Something a little lighter, since I've been playing a lot of horror games, and, sometimes I just don't want to be anxious anymore, you know? While playing a game. Okay, anyway, goodbye.